Justin Feldkamp, co-host of Football Friday with Dennis Carter on ABC 13, joined me on the Sports Buffet podcast to look at the 15 games that will be covered tonight by him and Dennis around 11:15 on ABC 13. Hear Justin talk about the game of the week, Amherst and Northside, and much, much more. Justin Feldkamp talking high school football on the Sports Buffet podcast.
You know, high school football season's here when Football Friday is not less than 12 hours away at this point almost. ABC 13's Justin Feldkamp joins me, one of the co-hosts of the show, and I'll tell you, all the previews and everything has gotten me psyched up, but I'm ready for some action tonight. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. It's good to get some teams out there going against another team versus bashing each other doing it in practice. So it's going to be exciting week one.
15 big games tonight. Let's just go over some of the games that you guys have. Buckingham County at Appomattox. It should be interesting to see Appomattox tonight with a new look. No Josh Wilson and Doug Smith as a head coach.
Yeah, it's one of several games where we're featuring new head coaches in different places. And Appomattox coming off a strong 10-2 season. Like you mentioned, Josh Wilson, one of our Player of the Year finalists from a year ago. He is graduated and gone, and they have some more talent coming through Appomattox. I mean, they've had a good run the last few years, and I don't think they're going to take a step back. A lot of the players that I spoke to earlier in the preseason said that they think they can improve on their 10-2 record and 2-game stints in the playoffs.
Brookville, the defending state champions in Group 2A Division III, will hit the road to travel down to Martinsville, and obviously I think Jeff Woody's squad is strong again.
Definitely. Kendall Beecraft, he's going to be one of the favorites for the Player of the Year for Football Friday, and being that they're virtually the only team in the area that can win games with the passing attack, and they're similar to Appomattox and kind of reloading them. I mean, Brookville continues to put Division I talent in the college ranks, and they just find some more people. And Kendall Beecraft has plenty of weapons on the outside. They got a strong offensive line. Jeff Woody, one of the best innovative coaches offensively in the area of the state, and they're going to be tough to beat once again.
Couple Dogwood teams having non-conference battles tonight. Dan River will travel to Tunstall, and Chatham is going to host Bluestone, and probably after Gretna, it's a wide-open Dogwood district.
Definitely. I think, Gretna is going to be at the top of the defending champs and been to several state championship games over the last decade, and they continue to reload and play well year in and year out. But I think Dan River, a lot of people obviously focusing on Trey Edmonds and his departure, and he's now at Virginia Tech, but they have his younger brothers on that team. Carol Edmonds is the coach, and I think they have continued talent, and they've kind of moved that train along down in Ringgold to, not have to fall off the track just because one of their best players is now in the ACC. So I think that definitely Gretna at the top. Dan River is going to give them a run, but I think that the Hawks got ranked supreme once again.
Talking about some Western Valley District teams, GW will host Petersburg tonight. They have a new coach in Bobby Martin, and Halifax County has a new coach in Mike Rourke. They'll host Jefferson Forest. What should we expect maybe out of those games?
Jefferson Forest got a lot of question marks on their team. They don't necessarily have a legitimate quarterback right now. Kind of a two-way battle, and there's a possibility that both of them would play. But they're always going to be a kind of in-your-face defense. And Halifax is, they've struggled mightily over the last few years. They've had several coaching changes, and it seems like Mike Ward is kind of trying to be a stabilizing force. He has the quote that he doesn't want Halifax to be a homecoming game for every team anymore. And, easier said than done. They got a lot of work to do down there. And Jefferson Forest, they usually play each other at the beginning of the season, and again this year. And I think Jefferson Forest is going to be really figuring out what their identity is offensively in the first month or so of the season.
Franklin County and William Fleming, that's a non-district game between two foes, I believe, in the Western Valley, and then PH is going to take on Hidden Valley. William Fleming needs a win, but Franklin County is probably not a team that you really want to see coming in when you need a win.
Yeah, definitely. Coach Chris Jones has not necessarily turned around that program, but really taken able to contact Coach Chris Jones recently to get an update on that, but it appeared when it happened that could have been a collarbone or at least something relatively severe with his shoulder, so it looks like he would be out for at least a couple games. Like I said, I don't have a firm update on that, but they're going to be good. I mean, that just because they got an injured quarterback doesn't mean that the whole season falls apart. So I think they're going to be another strong team, and like you said, William Fleming, team that needs a lot of wins to kind of get back to where they want to be. But yeah, Franklin County is definitely the class of the Western Valley, I'd say, right now.
And PH probably not too far behind with the David Prince back. Hidden Valley, always a good battle when you have those two Roanoke schools tangling.
Yeah, definitely PH has kind of returned to prominence as well. They've increased their win total the last 4 years and continue to play good. And you mentioned David Prince, the Virginia Tech recruit, a multifaceted athlete, play the quarterback position, and can get out in space, can make people miss with his legs, and improve passing game. So going up against the Hidden Valley team, who just a couple years ago was virtually winless and is really turning around last year, had a great rebounding year, and they're going to be back at it, and usually they attack you with the running game, and I'm sure that's what they're going to be doing again this year.
Glass will hit the road at Charlottesville. The Ben Martin era starts tonight for the Hilltoppers.
You see Glass, I think they got a lot to prove. They're, I'd say, maybe in the middle of the Seminole District, at least according to the preseason, and new coach means that you got to figure out how you're going to adjust to them and the players and all that kind of stuff. And that's part of what preseason is. But then kind of have to see it on the field during real live games and how players will respond to coaching and all that kind of stuff. But I have confidence in Ben Martin that he's going to be a solid coach for EC Glass. Just a matter of time. I think he's going to need a little bit more time. I don't necessarily see deep run in the playoffs anytime soon as in this year.
A couple other games tonight that'll be focused on: Perry McClure at Rockbridge, Randolph Henry and Alta Vista. But one that kind of really catches my eye too is a Campbell County battle: Rustburg and William Campbell. And you talked earlier about Kendall Beecraft probably going to be one of those guys that we talk about at the end of the year for Football Friday Player of the Year. Randall Jones might not be too far behind out of that discussion either.
Yeah, definitely. He can move it around. He's improved his passing game. He obviously run all over the place with his feet. We saw him do that as a sophomore last year, and this kid's only a junior, so he has big play potential every single time he takes a snap, and he's definitely going to be a key dog in that offense for Rustburg, and they're taking on a William Campbell team who should be improved. These two teams met for the first time in like a decade last year, and it was first team of the season. It was poorly played with all the mistakes and penalties and stuff, but hopefully we don't have to see that again this time around. Both of those teams are kind of more experienced and have been with their coaches longer, so I can see that game going into the fourth quarter.
We close with two great games. We'll talk about Game of the Week in a moment, but something that probably could have easily been a Game of the Week too was Magna Vista and Heritage. Magna Vista loses the Football Friday Player of the Year in Harvey Taylor. Heritage gains Brad Bradley. City Stadium, probably going to be an exciting game tonight.
Definitely. I think a lot of people are looking forward to Brad Bradley's debut. He brings all kinds of pedigree as far as his ability to take teams deep in the playoffs, and that's what Heritage wants. That's what every high school team wants, and especially for Heritage, a team who has won a state championship with former coach Chris Jones. They have that potential, they have the athletes coming through that system, and they need a coach that can take them there, and I think Brad Bradley is definitely one who has proven he can do so. And they got Javante Parrish, the quarterback, back this year. He can run, he can pass. He's another potential player of the year person to watch. And like you said, Magna Vista, they got another situation where they got our Football Friday Player of the Year, Harvey Taylor, graduated and gone. They got to figure out who's going to take over for him. They're coming off one of the most successful seasons they've ever had, and it'll be a solid matchup. I'm looking forward to seeing what Coach Brad Bradley can do right off the bat. I think expectations are a little higher at Heritage as compared to EC Glass with Coach Ben Martin.
and they'll meet up in 2 weeks. Northside and Amherst County, game of the week. To me, this one's got excitement written all over it, too. Amherst has not been what the people in Amherst County want the past few years, but I think that just shows how high the expectations are, because I don't think Cecil Phillips has done a bad job at all.
No, I mean, they've won back-to-back state titles with Scott Abel, and then Cecil Phillips came in and took them to 2 straight championship games. They failed in both of those championship games, but still, I mean, a remarkable run, 4 straight trips, and people kind of get greedy. They think we're expected to be there every single year. That's just unfathomable, but, they think they have a talent. I wouldn't consider them a state title favorite this year in Amherst, but they definitely have the ability to make a run in the playoffs and then, meet some tough teams in the regional finals, etc. But got Kyle Edwards back. He's bigger, stronger, faster. They got Marquise Brown, a stud running back who had some big-time highlights in their win last week against Northall, a team out of Georgia, in a benefit game. And they had to work out some kinks, but they played well, and especially in second and third quarters in that game. So if they can duplicate that this week against Northside, it should be a good game. I think Amherst might have a slight edge just by playing in front of their home fans on that fast field turf. Northside has plenty of talent. They lose Adam Hardister, senior quarterback, and they've lost some other guys as well. But Coach Bert Torrance, he didn't build a team; he built a program over there in Roanoke. And when you graduate guys, he's got people coming through the pipeline, and they continue to play the established type of football that Bert Torrance has made a name for himself now. And with the 2009 state title, they're gonna be ready to rock each and every Friday night, and they're bringing in a 15-game regular season winning streak. So they obviously know how to get it done in the postseason and in the regular season.
Give me some reasons to watch ABC Football Friday and tell me what's new.
First thing right off the bat, Mike Up the Coach. It's a new segment. Tonight we're going to have Coach Greg Mullins of William Campbell mic'd up in the locker room on the sidelines, and that'll be a new feature that we're going to attempt to do each and every week. So fans should be looking forward to that. And we just got the best highlights of any show in the area. I mean, we're going to take you to 15 games from Roanoke, Danville, Lynchburg. So we got all that, and we got game of the week that I'll be going to, Northside and Amherst. So definitely jam-packed 20 minutes of football.
I look forward to it. Justin, as always, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Bob.